Hi, I'm Struan Robertson. Did you know that you have a conscious part of your brain and a subconscious part of your brain? I mean, they're not actual parts of a brain, but I'm sure you know what I mean. Whenever we learn anything new, we learn it with the conscious part of our brains, whether it be tying a shoelace or learning to sign our name, whatever it is, drive a car. Now, what happens with the subconscious is that the subconscious is looking for patterns of behavior so that they can take the patterns and house them in the subconscious. So as you're tying your shoelace consciously, it's using all of your attention to do that. And if you keep doing that in the same consistent way over and over, the subconscious part of the brain is watching, and as it sees it as a pattern, it can take the pattern and then it will deliver that pattern to you consistently. So you will end up tying your shoelace the same way, but now it's housed in the subconscious part of your brain, which means the conscious part of your brain doesn't need to be concerned with it. Now this is beautiful because it leaves the conscious part of the brain free to get on and learn something else. And that's essentially how we're wired, and that's why we can pick up doing such complex things without having to actually be there consciously. Now that is a really great process. It does have a downside, however. As the subconscious takes a pattern, it can only give back exactly the pattern that it took. In other words, it can only tie the shoelace exactly as it learned how to tie it. It can't tie it a different way. And when you consider that the pattern is a habit, you understand that we can actually build bad habits, as we call them. So you might have a habit of a golf swing, but actually it's not a very good golf swing at all. So you end up playing a really bad swing forever because the subconscious can only do what it's been programmed to do through the pattern. It doesn't think. The subconscious doesn't think, actually, I can do this better. The conscious part might look at the pattern and think, you know what, we can improve that and adjust the pattern. But the subconscious has nothing to do with that. Essentially, whatever pattern we give to the subconscious, it will just give us back and continue to repeat. Imagine if you have filled your subconscious with patterns that aren't that great, with habits that aren't that great. You know, if you are scared to speak in front of a large audience, that's a pattern that you have picked up. It doesn't need to be there. It isn't helping you. So how would you change it so that you had a pattern that enabled you to speak very confidently in front of a large group? Well, we need to put in a new pattern, and we can do that. In fact, do you know how long it takes to cause a pattern to happen in the subconscious part of our brain? When you start doing something consciously, do you know how long it is before the subconscious is able to take that pattern? It's incredibly fast. It's about 21 days, 3 weeks. Can you imagine that? It means that if you are nervous speaking in front of a large audience today, it means that 3 weeks from now, you don't need to be. So what's happening now is the subconscious is always watching what you're doing consciously. And if all you're doing consciously is saying, actually, I'm uncomfortable with that, I'm scared with that, I'm not very good at that, I'm not very inspirational, I don't handle questions well. If that's the pattern, there's nothing to change. So we need to disrupt the pattern and give it some new information. It's going to sound really weird, but if you actually say to yourself, even write them down and read them, I'm great at doing presentations. I speak really confidently. I love taking questions. I feel very relaxed when I talk to large audiences. They really love what I say. I'm an inspirational speaker. Now, I don't care whether it's true or not. If you just say that, that's what you say to yourself. And you say it this morning, at lunchtime, this evening, do it again tomorrow morning, at lunchtime, in the evening. That's called an affirmation. You are affirming a particular belief. If you do that for 3 weeks, within 3 weeks, your brain will rewire and that will become the new pattern. And the result will be that when someone asks you to speak at a conference, your subconscious part of your brain will deliver that pattern. And you'll notice it because when you go to stand up to speak, you actually don't feel nervous and afraid. You actually feel like you can be inspirational, take questions well, communicate to an audience well, and enjoy the experience. We're wired in a particular way that really helps us, and we need to learn to use the brain that we have better in order to enhance our lives. You can create a brand new pattern within 3 weeks. Imagine the opportunity. What could you do with that? What pattern would you like to have? Try it. Start feeding in the information into yourself that you would like as positive affirmations. Repeat them day after day after day, 21 days. If you can commit to that, I can assure you the subconscious pattern will be created and that will deliver the results that you're looking for. Have some fun with that. Be a 10.